When I started investing last year at 34 years old, it was not because I just suddenly became interested in the stock market. It wasn't because I discovered some amazing investment strategy, and it wasn't because I wanted to become rich. It definitely wasn't because I thought I'd found some super secret shortcut to retirement. The truth, in fact, is much more simple and straightforward than that. I started investing because I looked ahead at my life and realised that I wanted more options in future. That's basically it. For most of my adult life, I've never really invested in anything outside of a pension. So I have a workplace pension that I paid into and still pay into. I know it exists, but beyond that, I didn't really do anything else. My partner and I did buy a buy-to-let property about 10 years ago, but outside of that, we've not done anything else in the stocks and shares world. And if I'm being completely honest, I think part of that reason was psychological. I've always had a bit of an all or nothing personality in many things that I do in life. So if I can't do something properly or fully or give it my full attention, then I somehow just convince myself to not do it at all. And that's exactly how I approached investing. I looked at the £20,000 stocks and shares ISA allowance limit, and I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to fill that every year, so therefore I'll just not put any money in it at all. And that sounds completely ridiculous now, right? Like why would that be a thing? But at the time, that's genuinely how I thought. I was looking online at people investing thousands every month, people with six-figure portfolios, people who seemed to know exactly what they were doing, and I convinced myself that investing was something that other people did and I did not. I gave myself all the excuses under the sun. You didn't have enough money, I don't know enough, I'm not ready. So for all of those reasons, I just did nothing. And looking back, I probably spent years making excuses when I should have been doing something. And the funny thing is I actually wanted to start this YouTube channel almost from the same moment that I started investing. When I first opened my stocks and shares ISA at the beginning of January 2025, I remember thinking, oh, this could make a really interesting YouTube channel. Not because I'm an expert, actually like the exact opposite, but because I'm not an expert. I thought that documenting the journey from the beginning might be useful to people because I was looking for that content myself. So the mistakes that people make early on in their investing journeys, the lessons, the wins, the mental doubts when you question yourself about are you doing the right thing or not, all of the day-to-day reality of being a normal person trying to build wealth. But even then, even though I knew all those things, I just didn't start. I spent an entire year investing before I uploaded a single finance video. Actually over an entire year, about a year and a quarter. The idea was there, I thought about it all the time. The motivation was there. I already run another triathlon channel, it's like a lifestyle and triathlon YouTube channel. But I just kept telling myself, not yet, not now. And eventually I just realized that the people who actually achieve things in life aren't necessarily more ready than anybody else. Often they just start. They're just brave enough to take the risk and to just start something. And I think, if I'm honest, I had a bit more of a, not a crisis, but definitely a mid-30s moment. So I didn't go out and buy a sports car. I'm quite happy driving my £500 ex-taxi. Didn't have any dramatic life events. It was just one of those periods where you start looking further ahead and you start looking at the future differently, and you start asking yourself questions that you don't really know the answer to. So like, what do I want the next 20 or 30 years to look like? What if life doesn't go exactly according to plan? What if my circumstances changed? What if I become ill? Something like that. Maybe I'm not able to work in the same way forever, or some opportunity comes along that I want to take. What if I want more flexibility and options in later life? And it didn't take much thinking for me to realise that I didn't really have a very good answer to any of those questions. Now, don't get me wrong, you absolutely don't need to be getting a tiny little violin out for me at all. I'm in a very fortunate position in life. I've got a decent job that I enjoy. I've got a home and a roof above my head. I've got a pension. I've got Mrs. Compounding Project. I've got hobbies that I love. I've got so much to be grateful and happy for. It was just that one thing I was becoming increasingly aware of was how dependent my future was on me continuing to do exactly the same thing that I'm already doing. So to keep working, to keep earning, to keep paying into my pension, to keep following the same path and doing the same things to the same level or above that I'm doing now. And whilst there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, I just realised that I wanted more than one route available to me. I wanted more than one plan to have as an option, because life has a habit of changing. Certainty is often a complete illusion, and one thing that I've learned as I've gotten older is that nobody really knows what the next 20 years is going to look like. Such a huge amount of time, really. We all like to think that we do, and we all assume and hope for the best in many cases. So we assume that we're going to stay healthy, we assume that we're going to stay employed, we assume we're going to keep earning money, and we assume that things will broadly continue as they do, and hopefully they will do. But hope isn't really a strategy. I genuinely have no idea what my life will look like in 20, 25 years time. I don't know what work will look like in that sort of time. I don't know what my health will look like then. I don't know what opportunities might have come along or anything like that. And that uncertainty is actually one of the main reasons why I started investing, because investing felt like a way of creating options. So absolutely not guarantees, just potential options. When I look at people who seem to have flexibility in their lives, money isn't the first thing I notice. The first thing I notice is choice. The choice to, reduce hours at work, to change career, start a business, take a risk. I ride a bike in my free time, so people that are out cycling in the working weekdays, those sorts of things. People that spend more time with their families than the normal person. The choice to say no to things that they don't want to do. Those choices always felt incredibly far away from me, like almost impossible. And that's something I've thought about a lot recently. I said it on a recent video that lots of things feel impossible until you've done them. Things like owning a house perhaps, moving house, owning a buy-to-let property, or finishing an Ironman triathlon. All of those things might feel, nope, that is completely out of my wheelhouse. There's no chance I'm going to be able to do that until you've done it. The most recent examples for me are some of those, but starting a second YouTube channel, having over £20,000 invested, even some of the jobs that I've had in the last few years, they all felt impossible at some point. I remember looking at certain jobs and options in life and thinking, yeah, but there's no way I'm going to get that. People like me don't get those sorts of things. But eventually, if you talk yourself around and give yourself the confidence, then you apply for those things or put yourself forward for those things, and sometimes they come your way. And then suddenly the thing that you once thought was really impossible becomes absolutely normal. And it doesn't come easily, it's not effortless, but it does then just become normal. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons that life in general keeps teaching me. The things that seem like a million miles away today do often become completely ordinary tomorrow. And the only requirements to achieving those things, in my opinion, is staying around long enough to get there. Like take investing, for example. This time last year, breaking through £20,000 invested felt like a long way away, like genuinely. Obviously, you can look at the numbers, you can see what you're putting in and what growth you're expecting, you can work it out. I remember doing investment updates on this channel when it was around £13,000, £14,000, and £20,000 felt like a massive milestone for one, but also a million miles away for two. Something that, yes, future me might achieve, but will I, won't I? The doubt is there. Right now, at the time of recording, the portfolio is at just over £22,000, and now the funny thing is that £20,000 barrier or achievement doesn't really feel like an achievement anymore. You sort of look at the next one, whether it's 50 or 100k or something like that, and I think that's a strange thing about progress. We spend so long chasing milestones and chasing goals that when we get there, it's almost a bit of an anticlimax, and like that goal then just feels normal, then you're on to the next thing. The other thing that's changed for me though is how I think about money itself, and I don't know whether it's a digitization thing or whether it's just a life change thing. When I was younger, I probably viewed money as the goal. So the bigger number you've got, the better. The bigger salary, the better. The bigger your account balance is, the better. But the older that I've got, the more I've realised is that money is just a tool. At the end of the day, money is just numbers on a piece of paper, and that's how I justify talking about money so openly on this channel. I'm going to go on to talk about salary and net worth and all those things in future videos, because those things are just numbers on a piece of paper. Money only has a value because of what it allows you to do. So money isn't like the destination, money is the vehicle to get you to where you want to go. And that's why when people ask me what my investing goal is, or why are you investing, what's the point, I sometimes struggle to answer, because the goal isn't a number. It's not £100,000 or £500,000 or whatever. Those things are just numbers. What I actually care about is what those numbers allow me to do. And what I don't know is, what number do I need to allow me to do what I want to do. I'll figure that out along the way somewhere. And maybe that goal is to be able to work differently in later life. Maybe it's the ability to reduce my hours at work in later life, or to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, or to be able to take more opportunities that I can't do today. I have no idea what future Dan will want, but I'd like him to have choices, because that's really what wealth means to me. Wealth to me doesn't mean luxury, doesn't mean status, doesn't mean a fancy car or a fancy watch trying to impress people. I'm certainly not trying to become the richest guy in the graveyard. Very happy driving my £500 ex-taxi, for example. But having freedom, having flexibility, having choice, that's what I'm trying to build, and that is where pensions come into the picture. So I do have a pension. I contribute to it through my day job. My employer contributes kindly to it as well. And I do absolutely think that pensions are important. It's currently my biggest investment vehicle. But if I'm honest, one of the reasons why I started investing outside of my pension is because I can't be certain what the next 25 years is going to look like. I can't be certain that I'll always be able to contribute at the same level. I can't be certain that life won't change. I really can't be certain of anything. But what I can do is build another pillar underneath my future, another source of security that I can access whenever I like. It's not bound by an age restriction like pensions are. So it's just another source of options, and that's how I'm viewing my investing. So today I'm investing around £800 per month. My portfolio is worth just over £22,000, and objectively, I know it's a massive amount of money to so many people, but it's not a life-changing amount of money to me yet. And that's not really the point right now. The point is that every month I'm buying a little bit more future flexibility. So every month that I deposit money into Trading 212 and buy stocks and shares, I'm reducing my dependence on a single income in future. Every month I'm creating slightly more choice than I had before, and that in itself is incredibly motivating, because unlike a lot of financial goals, this isn't really about reaching some magical number. It's just about moving in the right direction. There might be a magical number, but I just don't know what it is yet. And so will investing completely change my life one day? Well, maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I genuinely don't know. But I do know with absolute certainty that not investing won't change those things either. And that's ultimately why I started. Not because I want to become rich, and not because I want to beat the market or become a finance guru or anything like that. I started because I wanted options. I wanted future me to have more choices than present me has today. And if there's one thing that I've learned over the last year, it's this: you don't build those options all at once. You build them gradually, month by month, contribution by contribution, decision by decision, until eventually something that once felt completely impossible feels normal. So that's why I started investing age 34, and whilst yes, sure, I wish I'd started a load sooner, I'm still very glad that I started when I did. So if you want to follow along with this journey, please do hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you again very soon. Thank you very much for watching.